Once upon a time, there was a young, cunning fox who lived in a dense forest. He knew the woods like the back of his paw. The young fox was always looking for new challenges. Every now and then, he treated himself to a snack he had, let's say, found at the farmer's place. One warm morning, he wandered through the woods, his stomach growling loudly with hunger. The fox sighed and shook his head. I really need to find something tasty to eat, or I'll starve. He sniffed the air and the ground, searching for a hint of food. Suddenly, a wonderful smell drifted past his nose, making his mouth water. It was rich and creamy, the unmistakable scent of fresh cheese. Cheese, the fox whispered. He followed the smell, weaving through the trees as quietly as he could. Before long, he spotted the source, a magnificent black raven perched high on a branch of a tall oak tree. The raven's feathers shone in the sunlight, and under his claw, he held a huge piece of cheese. The fox's eyes widened, and his stomach growled even louder. That cheese looked delicious, a perfect meal to satisfy his hunger. But the raven was sitting way up in the tree, far out of reach. There was no way the fox could just grab the cheese. The fox mused, tapping his paw against his chin. I can't climb up there, and I can't scare the raven into dropping the cheese. I need to come up with something better, something that will make him give me the cheese willingly. Then a sneaky grin spread across his face. He knew just what to do. The fox straightened up, put on his most charming smile, and called out to the raven. Good morning, O noble raven, he said in his sweetest voice. The raven, who had been enjoying the morning sun and the feeling of having such a tasty snack, looked down with a wary eye. He saw the fox below and didn't trust him one bit. But he stayed quiet, holding the cheese tightly under his claw. The fox pretended not to notice the raven's suspicion. Wow, he continued, what a magnificent creature you are. Your feathers shine so brightly, black as midnight and perfectly smooth. No other bird in this entire forest can compare to you. Truly, you are a sight to behold. The raven was surprised. He wasn't used to hearing such praise. His eyes narrowed, but he felt a little pride warming in his chest. Still, he kept the cheese firmly under his claw. He wasn't about to lose his snack over a few nice words. The fox, however, saw that his compliments were starting to work, so he kept going. And those eyes, the fox said, making his voice sound full of wonder. So sharp, so wise. They must see everything that happens in this forest. You are truly the king of the birds. He loved the compliments, but he stayed careful and held the cheese tight under his claw. The fox, however, was smart. He could tell he was close. He just needed one last push. But, he said with a longing tone, what I truly wish for is to hear your amazing voice. I've heard so many stories about how beautiful it is. They say that when you sing, even the angels pause to listen. If only you would bless me with just one song, my life would be complete. The raven was now bursting with pride. His feathers fluffed up even more. His eyes gleamed with joy, and he spread his wings wide in a grand display. No one had ever admired him this much. How could he resist showing off his incredible voice to such an admirer? He lifted his head, opened his beak wide, and let out a loud. But as the raven spread his wings and opened his beak to sing, he forgot to hold the cheese tightly. It slipped from his claw and fell from the tree. Quick as a flash, he leapt forward and caught the cheese in his mouth before it hit the ground. The raven's eyes widened in shock and disbelief as he watched his precious cheese fall straight into the fox's jaws. The fox chewed happily and savoring every creamy bite. It was just as delicious as he had imagined. He licked his lips and looked up at the stunned raven with a sly, mischievous grin. Thank you so much, noble raven. Your song is unforgettable. And now, thanks to you, I've had a wonderful breakfast. The raven, realizing he had been tricked, felt a wave of embarrassment and anger. He had fallen for the fox's flattery and lost his precious cheese, but there was nothing he could do now. The fox was full and satisfied, and the raven was left empty-beaked. Before trotting off into the woods, the fox gave the raven one last look. "Remember, my friend," he said, "not everyone who flatters you truly means it. Sometimes sweet words hide selfish plans." And with that, the fox disappeared into the forest, leaving the raven with a lesson he would never forget. From that day on, the raven was much more careful. He learned the hard way that not all compliments are sincere, and sometimes, behind pretty words lies a cunning plan.